We're continuing to see the bifurcation in software. So you have the two neighborhoods, the application software names. So the bellwethers there would be the Salesforce.coms and the Adobes. And then you've got the infrastructure neighborhood, which by and large would include the hyperscalers, but I'll keep those separate because they're kind of a beast of their own in terms of how we think about them in the AI life cycle and the value chain. But the infrastructure names continue to get bid up, and that's functionally because it's the most immediate and we think the most correct way to express the veritable AI winners in the software stack. I think you sort of were dancing around this, but software has sort of been deigned as this redheaded stepchild of tech, if you will, as the frontier labs, absolutely, express their might in terms of the type of innovation that they're, putting out there and, disrupting existing business models. Software companies, arguably in retrospect, we're looking fat and happy, and now those bills are coming due, and we're seeing a sort of different cadence of both innovation, operational improvement, and so infrastructure is the place to be because infrastructure software generally.
What's an example of infrastructure software?
It would be a company like a Datadog or a Cloudflare, right? So it's not terribly household names in the sense that we're used to, like we are in the application realm. So it's essentially companies that are enabling or providing scaffolding or visibility around the types of AI systems that an average organization is interacting.
Does Datadog, which I know, the New York Yankees blue light for Anne-Marie Horton, the Datadog, which I know nothing about, do they provide services to, say, Microsoft?
No, what they provide is effectively the equivalent of an MRI scan for your entire IT architectural topology, right? And that's important.
Why do I feel like I'm at Weill Cornell right now? It hurts here, Dr. Boolani.
Just a Renaissance woman with all my analogies. And so what the value they provide in the context they provide for AI is AI systems in the way they're constructed and the novel capabilities that they're providing, brick to brick. These are just very sophisticated systems and pieces of technology, right? And they're ever changing. And we were offline talking about how the frontier is changing so dramatically that 6 months from now, we could be in yet another brave new world as it relates to, technological proficiency with respect to models and what the labs are doing. And so what Datadog provides is, hey, you're going to build out these systems of agents that are going to run workflows for you. Well, guess what? There's a million things that could go wrong. The agents could hallucinate. The agents could spin up a wrong answer. They could outright fail. And so Datadog is that MRI scan where your innards are effectively becoming so complex that your points of failure are just becoming infinitely more diffuse, and that's sort of the value they provide ultimately.
So Datadog infrastructure software, I get that, and the stock's up 88% year to date. Wow, what else is a Datadog comp, would you say?
We're very positively aligned on Cloudflare, right?
Cloudflare.
That's also in
up
a
40%.
Similar echelon of outperformance.
Yep.
Call here is Cloudflare is basically the backbone of the internet, right? It's the easy pass equivalent for organizations to run their business on the internet, right? And the way they play in the AI theme is you've got these agents. They've got to run somewhere.
I've got a nodding acquaintance with Matthew Prince going way back to some fun days in Davos. What is Matthew Prince doing differently at Cloudflare versus everyone else?
Oh, he's tinkering with a lot of interesting ideas as it relates to what the agentic internet is going to look like. One of the founding sort of principles around his view, and we tend to agree because a lot of the data points are supportive of this, is, there's human-generated internet traffic, but hold the phone. There's going to be an absolute parabolic explosion in agentic internet traffic. So, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, if I'm booking a family vacation, agentic commerce.
I want you to answer. I do not want you to answer this question, but in your head, I don't want to get you in compliance issues. Are you sorting out winners and losers of the big people, the hyperscalers? Like in your head, don't. Heath Terry will put me in the timeout chair. but are in the Fatima mind space, do you sort out winners and losers of the big people?
Absolutely. There is a gradient, but in the infrastructure realm, I directionally say there are, when we kind of cross over the Rubicon, the infrastructure software names are generally going to be beneficiaries of the computing shift, right? So that's why I bring up Datadog. That's why I bring up Cloudflare. We didn't really touch on the beast of a complex that is the cybersecurity universe, but as sure as death and taxes are, cybersecurity investments and budgets are going to follow what is going to end up being a much more nefarious cyber attack environment as it relates to AI technology. So we tend to also be bullish there.